We're now joined for Inside Out with our own Ian Begley. And Ian, earlier in the week, Steve Nash said Harden wasn't going anywhere. Well, you know how well that worked out. When did this deal start to come together?
Well, there was always conversations, third-party, back-channel conversations between the two teams, from my understanding, for a few weeks. But then, they got on the phone today, and really what this came down to in the final minutes was the Nets. They wanted Matisse Thybulle, the perimeter defender from the Sixers. The Sixers did not want to give him up. They had a couple picks on the table, first rounder, second rounder. They ended up going up to 2 first rounders. They didn't give up Thybulle. The Nets said yes, and they had a deal. But this thing was kind of always on the back burner, and it really started to heat up the last day or so because both teams kind of came to a head here. The Nets had to say, well, if we're going to lose James Harden in the offseason, if we can get enough in a deal that we get back now, if we like what we can get, we're going to do it. And they did it.
All right, and so now the big question is, what is the expectation regarding when the Nets will be able to see Ben Simmons on the basketball court?
I think it's going to take, days, weeks for him to ramp up here. I don't think we're talking about a month. I think maybe we're talking about a week, 10 days, because I think that he's stayed in shape, even though he hasn't played for the Sixers. But staying in shape off the court and being in game shape are two different things. So there's going to be a ramp up here with the Nets and their training staff. But I would expect him to be on the floor sometime within the next 10 days or so.
All right, so let's switch gears. What does the Knicks' inactivity at the deadline mean for the future of the franchise?
It's unclear because right now you expected them at the deadline to, at the very least, get off of one of their rotation players to create a rotation spot for Cam Reddish, who they traded for a few weeks ago. And the Knicks talked to teams about doing that, but it turned out in some instances, I'm told, the price to get off of that rotation player or what the Knicks were getting back for that rotation player didn't make sense to make the move from a Knicks perspective at that point. So Tom Thibodeau, if everybody's healthy, when RJ Barrett's back, when Derrick Rose is back, he's got some decisions to make on his rotation if he wants to get Cam Reddish regular minutes. And it would be a little bit strange if Reddish didn't get regular minutes because the Knicks did give up a first-round pick to get Reddish in here. So that's one of the first issues that come to mind in the wake of this inactive deadline from the Knicks.
All right, well, it seemed every team had a little fun on Thursday except the Knicks. Ian, thanks so much.